Hi, everyone. It's Gina. It's been another week with way too much writing, so I thought I'd do a video to answer this discussion question. So, as far as which technology I would use if I were going to teach, I think that the thing that I need the most is a learning management system because I have the individual pieces, but getting them all together in a way that works for me and for my students is always an issue. So, I tried Moodle, which was a disaster. I think I'm going to go back to seeing what I can do with something simple like Google Classroom, because I'd used that in the past, but I'd never used all of the places to keep track of grades for students to do quizzes and get their feedback that way. So I'm thinking that might be an easy way to kind of get used to the idea of having a learning management system. In conjunction with that, as far as communication, I really like Zoom. I like it because of the ability to make breakout rooms, the ability to share a whiteboard, the ability to have the student write on the material at the same time, being able to have them have their text or their online version of something and also see it on the screen with me at the same time. I find that that works very well. And I think that recording some of those things would also work because then they could do it later. The company I just started working for does a lot with that when they're explaining things. They'll say, oh, let me just make a recording of this. And that's been really helpful. So I think that I would use those two technologies. As far as a specific tech tool, I like the idea of Cahoots for both children and adults learning to improve their writing and working in language arts. Specifically, there's a lot of confusion about when to use a comma in a sentence for both adults and kids. And I think that having scenarios where they can kind of play as a game to pick the right one will be a lot easier than trying to explain dependent and subordinate clauses to people because it just doesn't make a lot of sense, let's face it. So I thought that that might be helpful. I'm going to try that. I'm also thinking that it would be good with the younger kids because they seem to teach about apostrophes with possessives and contractions at the same time. So they're all confused all the time. So I'm hoping that turning that into a game might be a good way to use that technology for them to learn something and have it reinforce their learning so that they can make it their own and then solve the problem themselves. Again, with this new company, I've had to do training, and one of the trainings taught you everything, and then they gave you a situation and they asked you what you thought and you could answer, and they said, okay, let's see what happens. And if you didn't choose the right one, people start yelling and throwing things, not good. But if you choose the right one, you can see in the video how it all works. So I'm excited about those two things. I really have found some things that make me think a lot about what I'm doing and think about how I could do what I'm doing in a better way. So I'm looking forward to giving those a try. So thanks a lot. Bye.